So I'm in Castellón in Spain for Penyagolosa CSP race. So it starts in just under 8 hours. So it starts at midnight, so it's now 4 p.m. Gonna head and have a little nap pretty soon. But the race is 110 kilometers, 5,600 meters or so of climbing, and obviously starting at midnight, running through the dark all night long into the following morning. So I'm really excited for this race. It's been a while, maybe even just over a year since my last full night race. It's always a fun experience running through the dark and the head torch. There's always a different kind of atmosphere on the trails than when you're in the daytime, and it always feels really different and a different world. And then obviously seeing the sunrise come up in the morning is just a spectacular experience. So I'm really excited to get out there. It's a really beautiful course from what I've seen. I've seen a little bit over the last week. It's going to be a really tough course. I think, as everyone's saying, it's very rocky, very technical, lots of climbing. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the experience. And starting at midnight is always a good fun way to start a race. Running through the night with the head torch always adds a different element of preparation, but also difficulty to a course. So I'm excited to be on the start line with such a strong field of runners and to be out there all night long. Picked up the bib, got the number, dropped off the drop bag, so everything's prepared and ready for the event. So I'm just having some pasta now, real simple, just some pasta, some tomato sauce, getting those carbohydrates and energy for the midnight start, and then go back to the hotel, get the feet up and just relax up until midnight. So hopefully get a good sleep in there as well at the same time. It's going to be fun, and just try and relax as much as possible now before go time. These next 8 hours are going to be difficult. It's going to be really tricky to get into bed in an hour or so and try and have a nap for 3 or 4 hours, but I know I need to do it. I remember when I did my first night race a few years ago in Hong Kong, that started midnight, or it might have even been 11 p.m. And I remember when it got to 6 a.m, I was leading the race, hiking up some of the hills, and I literally felt like I was falling asleep every other step. So hopefully I can overcome that. I've got some good caffeinated products which might help me from Unived later stages of the race, but I'm feeling a lot more rested than I have for some races. Training hasn't been as intense or as much volume as I'm used to, so it could be a good factor in that sense that I'm just feeling a little bit fresher, hopefully out there, feeling a lot more energized and ready to go. So yeah, let's see how it goes. And just downloaded some tunes on Spotify for the old headphones in the middle of the night now when it's dark. Need to get myself to the start line though, starting in 45 minutes, so it's just gonna be a little 5-minute jog there. But I'm feeling good, all packed up, all ready to go. Hopefully it won't be too cold out there. I've got some gloves, got some layers just in case. But yeah, just excited to go. Head torch at the ready. Alright, let's do it. See ya. Beautiful mountains, but just crazy weather up there. Training's been pretty good. It's been definitely a different training block to what I'm used to. I've been kind of moving around a lot. We were still in New Zealand when I started to think about training towards this race. Had a quick stop over in Australia and then back in the UK in the lead up. I got to the summit, it was so windy. I wanted to do a loop horseshoe, but I just had to head down, but I had a fantastic time. Just about warming up. Lots of layers, full waterproofs. Been brekking today on the Penyagolosa. Summit is just ahead of me here. It's a bit snowy and icy. So beautiful though. Really relaxing up here. Yeah, chilly for sure. It's the coldest temperatures I've been in for a long time. It's been a bit less consistent than I'm used to. I've still had some good training weeks, but there's also been a few other spanners in the works. I had a few random allergic reactions, which kind of ended up with me breaking out in hives in the middle of runs and my whole face swelling up. So trying to overcome that as well as when I was in my heaviest part of training as well. It wasn't easy at all. I guess it's just some sort of tree pollen at this time of year, with it being spring, that I'm not used to after being away from the UK at this time of year for a while. So there's been no problems now, feeling good towards the race. It's just another hurdle that we have to overcome coming up to race day. I'm on the Penyagolosa course, so 6 days out from the race now. I'm just checking out some of the course, doing a bit of recce on the last part of it now. It's pretty rocky, pretty rough terrain, so it's going to be good fun on race day. This is like the last 16k that I'm checking out today or so. I've been here the past week now, perhaps, just under a week. I managed to check out some of the course over the weekend and earlier this week. Just some small sections. Obviously a week out from the race, I didn't want to do too much on the legs, but from what I've seen, it's going to be really rocky, really quite technical in some places. There's a lot of climbing, and the overall trend of the race is actually upwards. So there's more climbing than there is descending, which is going to be interesting because it's a point-to-point race. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting aspects to it. It's going to be fun, again, lining up with some really strong runners. We're being an Ultra Trail World Tour race as well. There's always strong runners in the field, lots of local runners as well. It's going to be really strong competition out there. Come over down these hills into the valley and then drop back up to here now. So 8k and about 300 meters of climbing for me from here, but then I've got to climb up another 500 meters to get back. So it's going to be a good little run out in the end. Feeling good, really enjoying the course. It's absolutely beautiful up here. So I did about 16k, about 800 meters or so climbing. The trail is just unreal, really beautiful, really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to the race on Friday. So it's 5 days out from the race now, so I've only seen 20k of the course really, because I've been doing that on back to the car, but stunning, and it's given me a good idea of what to expect on race day, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be tough for a midnight start, but that's part of the process, and I do enjoy night races. There's just a totally different element to it. Such a brutal course, just relentless. I don't think I've had to concentrate that hard for 12 hours, and it's just boom, 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 can't take your eyes off the ball. But yeah, the runners were all incredible, everyone was so strong, and the racing was just spectacular. So just finished up with Penyagolosa. That was an intense race. I came 4th overall in the end, so I'm really happy with the result. Had a few wrong turns, so at one point in the race I was leading with Cody, and then we ended up kind of careering off in the opposite direction to the trail we were meant to be going, so then we kind of had to kind of make up the ground, and at that point I just thought it was going to be too much effort to make up, but I think it worked really well in my favour. Ended up then obviously running in my own kind of zone between runners and just picking runners off throughout the race, and it was definitely an intense experience overall. The trails are just so rugged and rocky. It's just really intense and wild out there. The mountains here are just incredible. When the sun came up, it was just so beautiful. Some of the cliffs that we saw and the atmosphere was just unreal out there on the trail. Really happy with the effort overall. It's never easy when you're running a night race. You have to concentrate so much, especially when it's such a technical course like that. You have to obviously be real careful of your footing, which is difficult anyway in the daylight, but then when you've got the added kind of change in perspective with the headlamp, it can get pretty tricky. So yeah, I'm really happy with the performance overall. I couldn't have asked for a better race. In the closing stages, I really had to battle it out with between 4th and 5th with another runner, Augustin from Spain. He was really strong, and at one point I thought, man, this is just going to come down to a sprint finish. But just over the last few climbs I managed to just pull away, just kept running every uphill, and he just didn't have the legs for it, I guess, in the end. So I was really lucky to be able to pull that out, get that gap and get that 4th place in the end and come away with a strong result. It was a tough field, so I'm quite happy to be the first non-Spanish runner over the line. It would have been nice to have caught up with number 3 runner, but yeah, I was 4th in the end, and I can't complain with that. It was a good performance given, you know, a little bit of a miscalculation with the routing and other aspects, but I'm sure everyone had something within a race like that because it's just difficult out there in the night time. So Lavaredo is next, and then it's all leading into my first 100 miler with UTMB, so got a lot of work to do over the summer. I'm going to be in Spain now for a few months training in the mountains, and hopefully that'll add in an extra perspective in terms of where I'm going to be come Lavaredo and then leading into UTMB. So I'm really excited to be out here and racing and doing what I love to do.